my workshop. This is where I hang out to do some repairs, a little bit of home improvement projects, the odd art project. They are usually pretty odd. But mainly I just come here every morning to collect my thoughts, start my day on a positive note, relax, and find myself. This is my Zen room, as it were. While I'm out here drinking coffee, working on little projects, today I'm going to be working on a coffee mug lid. By the way, it's one of my favorite coffee mug lids. It's kind of a sippy cup. But if you're a Chinese manufacturer, nobody makes these anymore with this scooped out center. It's just this big bar right across the top. And listen, when you're dealing with one of these guys, you got a Roman nose roaming all over your face. My nose hits it. I have to tip back to get the coffees. It's a catastrophe. So this one has this little dimple right here. So I can just stick my nose right in there. Give me a sip of coffee. Works great. I wish somebody would make one of these again. In the meantime, I've got to try to repair this one. So that's my project for the day. But anyway, when I'm out here doing these projects, working on things, I do a lot of contemplating, thinking about the world's problems, the mysteries of the universe, and I come up with answers to all of them. Hey, it's my Zen place. It allows me to relax and clear my head. So I thought, as long as that's occurring, might as well record it all, share it with you on the internet, because why not? Everyone else does. So I thought I would start with this. One of the things I think about so much when I'm out here is manipulation. The idea that someone would put an opinion inside my head, make me think what I think, make me choose the music I listen to surreptitiously, the shows I watch, the movies I enjoy, the person I vote for. It makes me sick. The idea that someone's controlling my mind, and it works. People do. We spend trillions of dollars on advertising every year. That's all the internet is. It's one big advertisement. It's all run by advertisements. No matter what you do on the internet, if you're looking at social media, see what your friends are eating for dinner, or you're playing a game, or you're actually looking for some knowledge, what do you see? Ads, pop-ups all over the place. There's so much content out there. They just create content to get you to look at the advertisements. Just nothing but talking heads with no original thoughts, just droning on and on and on about their own personal opinions about. This one's not like that. There's no ads here, okay? So don't worry about it. Just send me cash. But anyway, the idea that someone is causing me to think a certain way just makes me sick. It's manipulation. And I thought, well, it's November 2024. Here in the States, we just had a national election. So what better time to talk about manipulation than now? And we just elected a new president, or an old president. Not old, well, he is old, but we elected Donald J. Trump, who was president number 45. And now he's going to be president, well, some are saying president 47, but technically he's still the 45th president we've had. Anyway, it'll be the 59th four-year term for president. It's what he'll be filling. He was the 45th. Now he'll be the 47th, or he's still the 45th. 46 was Joe Biden. But Donald Trump ran against Kamala Harris and won. And that has caused half of this nation to be elated, super happy, and probably rubbing things in. And the other half is just inconsolably depressed and sad. And really would like to talk to both groups on that. That is why I'm here today. I want to point out that Donald Trump won 312 electoral votes versus 226 for Kamala Harris. Now, the Electoral College is confusing to a lot of people, and there are often calls for us to get rid of the Electoral College because it's not fair, and we need to go with the public vote, especially when one party loses the Electoral College but wins the popular vote. Then there's all sorts of calls about the popular vote really represents democracy much more accurately. Again, we'll go over the Electoral College and its importance later. But in this particular case, Donald Trump won the popular vote as well. Roughly 76 million, 76.3, something like that, million votes, what they're at now, to Kamala Harris, who had 73 million. Point being there, we don't have a consensus in this country. This is split basically right down the middle. And for all those people you're no longer speaking to, cousins, sisters, brothers, parents, because of the way they voted, look, how many people are you going to cut out of your life for these politicians? You are determining that there's calls to not even associate yourself with people who voted differently than you. That's you saying that people within the Beltway in Washington, D.C., people who don't even know you exist as an individual, many of whom don't care about you, quite frankly. You're saying they're more important than the people that are in your day-to-day lives. That's manipulation. That's you almost reaching a cult status that I have to worship this politician who's going to save my life and make it worthwhile, rather than the person right next to you, next door, down the street, at the family reunion, at Thanksgiving dinner. That's manipulation, and it's not very American, quite frankly. We're a melting pot, and we're supposed to be. So Donald Trump won, Kamala Harris lost. You voted for one of the two of them, most likely. There is, third parties, fourth, fifth parties in this particular election. So you had a lot of choices, and they did get some votes. Very small percentage of the votes. It changes every time on these extra parties who they take votes away from. Some of them say that the Democrats have gone too far to the left, so they're more centrist, right or left centrist. That usually takes votes away from the Republicans. Some say the Republicans aren't far enough right, and that usually takes a very, very small amount of votes away from the Republican side. And then others say the Democrats are way too conservative and we need to go way out there to the fringe on the left. And they take a very small amount of votes away from that Democrat side. Typically, your third party, fourth party, fifth party, or your write-in is not going to make a difference. So it's kind of a throwaway vote when you do that. In this particular case, it's a very small percentage, these additional parties. So if you voted for Trump, you really had a lot of reasons to vote for Trump. He's a populist. He says what people want to hear. He is very big on America. I don't know his personal feelings, of course, but the way he speaks is very positive about America. Make America great again. We want to be the greatest country in the world. We are fantastic. We love us. We love our people. We just need to give it that oomph and free us up to do what we do. This is stuff that people like to hear. It's populist. It resonates with a lot of people, half the country. It doesn't resonate with other people, but it is a cheerleader, positive speaking approach. A lot of people don't like the way he speaks, but I think at times he comes across like a Chinese menu. Super good, best, chow mein. But it is a good technique for getting people excited and built up, which is clear. He got 76 million votes, first Republican to do that in this country. Manufacturing was big in his first term. He had a track record with the economy to sell to people, and that helped him tremendously. Prices were low. He was gasoline prices, fuel prices, interest rates were low. It was a boom time. He brought manufacturing back, as I said. You may remember Barack Obama famously said in 2014, manufacturing, I want to be perfectly clear, manufacturing is gone from this country. It'll never come back. That's not us. Well, he says he wants to bring back manufacturing. What, is he going to have a magic wand to wave at it? Apparently he did. Trump brought some manufacturing back to this country. So you had a lot of solid reasons to vote for Trump. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. But were you also manipulated? If you like that good conservative approach to the economy, free market, Trump used prodigiously tariffs. And he's promised to use tariffs again in the future. This is maybe not the way a super conservative dedicated to open market would approach things. So did you overlook that, or were you convinced that that's okay? And I know tariffs get a little confusing for folks. We'll cover that in another video. I'll put a link for it and go over the basics of what a tariff is. But that could be a source of manipulation for your vote for Donald Trump. Now, if you voted for Harris, you probably looked at her, well, there was the way her inspiring work. I'll be honest with you. I can't think of a single reason that any logical, rational person would cast a vote for Kamala Harris based on who she is and what she says. And I hope that's not too harsh sounding, but if I'm wrong, put it down in the comments. Tell me a reason you would vote for this person based upon what came out of her mouth. We all heard her speak. We all heard her word salads, as the media and other folks like to call it. We heard her stumbling over thoughts, trying desperately to sound smart when she really didn't know what was going on. Let me tell you, there's nothing sadder than hearing someone drone on about something, trying to sound intelligent, like they actually know what they're talking about, and they just puke out a bunch of words, and it just becomes. But anyway, I don't know of a rational reason that you would vote for Kamala Harris. I can't think of one. However, I do recognize that she may represent some things that you felt were very important to vote for. Okay, and she's a symbol, like a cross or a logo or a MAGA. It's a symbol. It's not the thing. It's what it symbolizes. Christianity is not a cross. The cross is a symbol for Christianity. MAGA. Who in his right mind would not want to make America great again? All of us do. We're all Americans. But the MAGA logo, the MAGA phrase, does represent a certain group of people. And depending on who you ask, the descriptions of that group of people will change. So I can see that Harris perhaps represented or symbolized some principles in your life or in your political opinion. And those, I think, are likely women's health issues, is what they call it. Now, women, as far as I know, have full access to health care, same as anybody else in this country. So let's call it what it is. It's abortion. Abortion rights is what she represents. She campaigned on it, big on it. She made sure that everybody was of the opinion that Donald Trump was going to single-handedly get rid of abortion, make it illegal across the board in this country. Might have been a little manipulation, not doesn't seem to be factually accurate. A, in his level of power, but B, in his determination to do so. She was about open borders, and that's a big deal to a lot of people. Want open borders. Anybody should be able to live anywhere they want. Borders spelled Borders, or Boarders, as it fits. But open borders was a big deal for her. Big deal for a lot of Americans. Hey, why should I live here and not everybody else get allowed to live here? She was also into green energy, man-made global warming, which is typically side by side with anti-business, anti-big business. This is trying to get the vote of the little man, get the vote of the small employee that doesn't count, get the vote of the union worker, even though union workers typically work for these large corporations. So she had the green agenda that got a lot of people going. Now, were you manipulated? Quite possibly so. You were manipulated. In fact, you were absolutely manipulated into voting for Kamala Harris, because the person who held presidency was Joe Biden. And Joe Biden, in his first campaign for president in 2020, he won more votes than any person in history. Now, mind you, he didn't go campaign. He sat in his basement the entire time. No rallies, no handshaking, no baby kissing. There weren't even many yard signs. Most pundits were saying he didn't stand a chance. In fact, even liberals were saying, man, I don't see any excitement for this guy anywhere in the country. He's got it. He's got to lose. I mean, there's no way. Trump is selling out stadiums, etc. And yet, Joe Biden got more votes than anyone in history, 81 million votes versus Trump's 74 million. So about 6 months ago, the Democrat Party decided that Biden wasn't going to be the one running for president this election. Why? Well, because they determined he wasn't capable of running a campaign or being president. Now, a lot of people around the world have noticed for years that he had some cognitive disabilities. He was going senile. We could see that in multiple interviews, videos, public appearances where he'd just kind of space out, or he didn't know what he was saying. He'd say the wrong thing, and I mean the exact opposite thing he meant. This is a no-no for politicians. They know better. Joe Biden's been nothing but a politician his entire life. I mean, he's provided no value to anybody except being a politician. He knows these things. This is a slip of his mind. Democrats denied this up until about 6 months ago, and they said, uh-oh, we're in trouble. His interviews were getting worse and worse. Celebrities were meeting with him and interviewing him, going, oh, I met him 3 weeks ago. He was perfectly fine, a spry 81-year-old man. But now suddenly, all of a sudden, he's become senile. Now, I've been around people with Alzheimer's, dementia, CTE. This is a slow progressing deal. You don't even notice it. You don't know when it starts. But once it gets going, there's no doubt. It is clear. And once you get to a certain point, you know what's going on. You can start looking back and you can see that it's been happening for years. It's clear. Yet, the Democrat Party has not gone back and said, yeah, this guy's been in trouble for years. They still won't admit that. Kamala Harris wouldn't admit it. And in fact, there's been no push by the Democrats to get Joe Biden out of office. He is in office, yet deemed incapable of holding that office. If it's only been the last 6 months, that's still 1/8 of his presidency. He's been incapable of doing the job. The Middle East is imploding. Interest rates are high. Prices are sky high. And if you go look it up, if you need the internet to recognize that gas and grocery prices and other prices are high, look, you're probably above that who cares what it costs line. You're a celebrity or a politician. I just wrote an open letter to Robert De Niro and others. I'll post it in the up for you so you can read it. But if you haven't recognized it, hey, I don't know that I can help you on that one. But if you voted for Kamala Harris, you were manipulated to vote for him. for her because Joe Biden was kicked out. No vote was made on who the candidate would be. She was just put in place. Democrat Party has that power to do so, forced her upon you. That is ultimate manipulation. So whether you voted for Donald Trump, you likely voted for him because of the economy. That's the strongest pull there. Or you voted for Kamala Harris. You voted for her likely because she represents women's health or abortion rights and open borders. Whichever one you voted for, you were likely manipulated into voting for that person, at least in some small way. Now, there's a good chance, like so many of our recent presidential elections, you didn't necessarily vote for someone, but voted against someone. And in that matter, you most certainly were manipulated. I'll cover that tomorrow with my next project. I appreciate you tuning in while you're wandering the highways and byways of America. Just remember, the left lane is for passing only.